being lifted? Have you been able, for those of you watching me right now, have you been able to log in? In fact, some people will say that government just banned themselves because many Nigerians were still on Twitter through other means. But a lot of people have their own analysis as to why the government did what it did last year, June, and perhaps why it is lifting the suspension today. But whatever it is, the restriction has been lifted. Today on the program, we'll be looking at the startup bill that has been proposed by the government. That's the federal government. The Federal Executive Council approved that, and we hope that the National Assembly will do the needful. I will have two guests joining me shortly to take a look at that. Tosi Fani, the Managing Director at Endeavor Nigeria, as well as Samuel Okwada, the co-founder and the CEO at Remedial Health. They will be doing justice to the topic in a short while. But you know what to expect here, or what I always say on the program. So join us on all our social media platforms. You can kickstart with joining us on Twitter now and let the conversation start coming. I want to tweet with you this morning. You can do that at Moneyline TV on Twitter. It's such a good thing to say, because sometimes, or most times, when I say join us on our social media platforms, I don't talk about Twitter. But I also tell the government, you guys got to lift this ban. And they've done that. So, anyway, you can join us on Twitter. You can also join us on Facebook. Go to our YouTube channel right about now and subscribe, Moneyline with Nancy TV. There you get knowledgeable resources and check out other interviews on different topics which we have handled. But first of all, let's quickly take our business news. President Muhammadu Buhari has lifted a ban on Twitter operations in Nigeria, which was enforced on January 13, 2022. Kashifu Abdullahi, the Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency and Chairman Technical Committee Nigeria Twitter Engagement, made the announcement in a press statement on Wednesday. According to the statement, the federal government urged Twitter to comply with certain criteria before lifting the ban, and the Social Media Corporation agreed to them. The agreement will be implemented this week. The federal government has stated that its January 17th decision prohibiting all unvaccinated workers from entering government buildings remains in effect, and that it will not be reversed. According to Iharu Atta, the FCT Minister's Senior Special Assistant on Monitoring, Inspection and Enforcement, the ministry is pleased with compliance so far and has urged employees to be vaccinated. The federal government says the revised national policy on micro, small and medium enterprises and the 2020 survey on micro, small and medium enterprises will provide suitable platform for initiating and implementing special interventions for the subsector. This was revealed at the media launch of the report on the National Survey of Nano, Small and Medium Enterprises in Abuja. Emmanuel Aldu has the details.
Diko Umar Orada, at the launch of the report on the National Survey of Nano, Small and Medium Enterprises, revealed that the major source of worry of the agency is the availability of data that clearly profiles nano, macro, small and medium enterprises or adequately.
Nigerian NMSMEs
but how do those policies also affect you, and how do you get better with your finances? So we'll be doing that today. Kehinde Olomojobi will be joining me in a short while to take a look at that. But let's get started with our business news, because we have quite a lot to tell you today, as well as our morning market brief that will come up. But how do those Pan-African Payment and Settlement System has been inaugurated by the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, the African Export-Import Bank and other partners in an effort to enhance inter-African trade. The decision came after the system's successful pilot in 6 West African Monetary Zone countries: Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia, Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. The Ghanaian Vice President Mahamadou Bawumia, who launched the system, claimed it will reduce Africa's reliance on third-party currencies to pay for transactions on the continent, as well as help spur inter-African commerce to stimulate industrialization and support sustainable and inclusive economic growth. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, on Thursday in Accra, Ghana, at the launching of a Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, is a milestone reflecting collective efforts in building an infrastructure that enhances payment gateway across West Africa. He added that the platform would benefit households, businesses and financial institutions towards Africa's growth, as well as formalized trading activities not reflected in the official trade data. The federal government recorded a shortfall of 2.8 trillion independent revenue from revenue generating agencies between 2015 and 2020. According to the Budget Office, over the years, many of these agencies have been underpaying revenue into the coffers of the federal government. The development, which has made it difficult for the federal government to achieve its revenue target based on the annual budget approved for the agencies. The Nigeria LNG Limited says its board of directors has approved the company's supply of 100% of its liquefied petroleum gas to the Nigerian market to further increase gas utilization in Nigeria. The company revealed that it has also established a system to sustainably provide propane for use in cooking gas mixing, as well as in the agro-allied auto gas, electricity and petrochemical sectors of the economy. The national state government says it has begun the construction of a technology village which will cost 30 billion naira in a bid to ensure that residents of the state improve on their knowledge of information and communication technology and other technological innovations. During the groundbreaking ceremony for the technology village, which would be built on 57 hectares of land, Governor Abdullahi Sule said it became necessary to embark on the project because the world was going digital, and he wanted residents of the state to have adequate knowledge of several kinds of technological innovations, which the technology village will be offering when completed. The Information Marketing and Management Institute, collaborating with the Federation of Agricultural Commodities Association of Nigeria, to build a strategic synergy with innovations and technologies for transforming the agricultural commodity value chain in Nigeria. The collaboration is expected to create jobs and build wealth to at least 2 million Nigerians in the area of logistics, processing, supply chain management, agricultural extension services, establishment of new agricultural production aggregation center that will add value to the ways produce are distributed from farm to market.
Much is needed to be done in the agricultural value chain expansion, as the surface is only being scratched by mere lending, which has yielded to a lot of production. But for a value chain to really take effect, there is need for total overhaul of the entire sector.
We should all endeavor to keep into this program, because if you look at what they have explained, it's a turnkey project. It only shows you that everything that we need in this country today can be achieved through this agricultural commodity value chain expansion project.
The startup bill recently approved by the Federal Executive Council, if signed into law, will help develop the Nigeria's ecosystem. Tosin Fanioda, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director at Endeavor Nigeria, said this while speaking on the benefit of the bill when it would eventually be passed. Take a listen.
Coming together and saying that they want to set up this startup bill is a good step. The most important thing, I think, is inclusion. And the fact that they're preparing this bill or developing this bill in collaboration with the ecosystem, with key stakeholders, helping to develop, helping to raise awareness and engaging on this bill, I think it's super important. And if you just think about other countries, other African countries that have done similar initiatives, from Senegal to Kenya to Ethiopia, and another country that I can't remember right now, the outcome was good. It helped their ecosystem. It helped to develop their ecosystem. It helped people invest in their ecosystem. It gave entrepreneurs sort of like the assurance and encouragement to be able to start new businesses, and also the backing from regulators as well.
In the same vein, Samuel Okwada, who is the Chief Executive Officer and the co-founder at Remedial Health, also commended the federal government for identifying the importance of startups and how it can drive the economy.
Now, as much as I would commend everyone, so the volunteers, to the government as well for this bill, I would say there's still a long way to go. We have to get it passed by the National Assembly. We have to build some other frameworks around this bill, and then implementation. I would say one thing I've heard when talking about this bill to people is everything dies during implementation in Nigeria. And we're definitely looking forward to seeing this being implemented. As Tosin mentioned, Nigeria we raised over $1.5 billion last year. And this is out of about 4 billion raised in Africa by technology startups. Now, this is without, or should I say, minimal support from either the regulators or the government. Now, imagine what would happen when things are working together for the good of startups, entrepreneurs. Regulators are also able to have the tools to do whatever they need to do. But, you know, I imagine that this will scale up probably 10x within the next 5 years. It already did 5x within the last 5. So it's just going to be an exponential growth. So it is a welcome development, and we definitely want to see it get to implementation.
And that's it for the business news. Let's quickly take a break, and when we come back, I'll be giving you a breakdown of the morning market brief. Don't forget to join us on all our social media platforms. We're glad we're back on Twitter, Moneyline TV, so you can tweet me right now. Also at Nancy-Lo-Energy. You can find us on Twitter, Moneyline TV. You can find us on Facebook, Moneyline with Nancy TV. On YouTube, go to your YouTube icon right now, click on it, search for us, Moneyline TV, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell button. We'll be right back as I take you through the morning markets brief. Quite interesting, so many things coming on, especially now that we know inflation in the United States is at 7%. How's it going to be dovetailing into other countries? How are other markets taking the news? I'll be giving you the breakdown when we return. Please do stay with us. Nigerian exchange traded with a bearish bias on Thursday, though it was a bit flattish as we saw the YTD, that's the year-to-date return declining slightly to about 4.42%. The market capitalization dipped to 24.032 trillion naira. If we take a look at what transpired on Thursday, the combination of Transcorp as well as some other stocks that were part of the outperformers on Thursday, we saw that impacting the market. Transcorp was up about 9.71%. Custodian was down. That's Custodian Insurance, 9.49%. USCN down 5% to about 910 kobo. USCN Custodian Insurance were part of the worst performers for Thursday. Looking at the sectoral breakdown, two of sectoral indices closed in the green. The banking index as well as the consumer goods index were in the green, while some stocks or some indices, the insurance index dipped by about 93 basis points. NGX oil and gas index on industrial goods closed flat. So what you're seeing right there on the screen, 44,604 points for the broad index. So the market was broadly bearish on Thursday, with volumes trading declining to about 293 million shares. Now let's move over to the market diary. Our funding rates in the money market, the OBB as well as overnight rates declined. Overnight rate was at 14.25%. on Thursday, while OBB closed at 13.5%. The decline in funding rates coincided with the weaker liquidity that we're seeing in the marketplace right now. Though we saw a surplus of about 47.4 billion naira on Wednesday, there was a PMA, primary market auction of about 77 billion naira on Thursday. At the fixed income markets, investors were slightly more active in the bond space, and analysts tied this to the release of the January issuance circular, which showed that the DMO will supply a new maturity 2042 into the secondary market. Except for the 2036, which recorded a slim sell-off, investors were mildly bullish on other maturities that traded on a Thursday. Now, for the currencies market, the naira depreciated slightly at the I&E window to around 416 naira 50 kobo to the dollar, as you can see there, while external reserves is still within the flattish region at $40.509 billion as at the 12th of January. That data is from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now let's move over to other African markets. I did tell you earlier during the business news that the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, as well as the African Exim Bank and other partners, launched the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, what we call PAPS, PAPSS. After, as well as Afro Exim Bank and other partners, launched this scheme on Thursday in a bid to boost intra-African trade. The move followed the successful piloting of the system in 6 West African countries: Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia, Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. When the system was launched yesterday, the Ghanaian Vice President did say that it would end Africa's dependence on third-party currencies, while Wamkele Mene, who is the Secretary General of the Africa Secretariat, says this is an African solution for an African problem. Now let's check out how the markets fared on this morning. The African markets, can we see that table very quickly for Ghana, and JSE? We're seeing the JSE is a bit weak. Not even a bit weak, strong, close to 1% at the beginning of trade this morning, along with his global peers, as a comment by the Federal Reserve led to a sell-off in tech stocks. So South Africa is reacting to that. If we move over to Ghana, you can see that Ghana is up about 1%, 2,754 for the index there. Meanwhile, the World Bank has projected that the Ghanaian economy is to grow 5.5% this year, and that is a bit lower from what the Ghanaian government has projected. The Ghanaian government has projected 5.8% expansion for its economy this year. The World Bank also announced that Ghana is set to become one of the fastest growing economies in sub-Saharan Africa. The last time I heard this kind of story for Nigeria was 2007, 2008, 2009. I think between 2005 to 2010, Nigeria was set to become one, or in fact, Nigeria was one of the fastest growing, 10 fastest growing then. But now, nowhere near that. So Ghana is set to become one of the fastest growing economies in sub-Saharan Africa this year, on the back of what? Elevated commodity prices that is expected to support recovery, especially in extractive sectors, that will also boost fiscal and export revenues for the country. If we move over to Kenya, what you see in the NSE 20, that's the top 20 stocks in Kenya, down 0.55% from the Henley's passport index report that just came out, Q1 2022 report. It shows that Kenya's passport is now the 8th most powerful in Africa and 71 globally. So Kenya's passport is the 8th most powerful passport in Africa and 71 globally. Don't ask me where Nigeria's position is, but let me just tell you anyway. Nigeria is number 99 globally, but I'm talking about Kenya now. The Henley's Passport Index shows that the number of countries that Kenyans can visit without a visa or obtain on arrival has increased to 72 from 64 in January last year. Nigeria is number 99. In fact, with Ethiopia, we're sharing that position with Ethiopia. Let's move over to the United States. Other markets very quickly. U.S. stocks futures rose early this Friday ahead of earnings from major banks, and all of the three major averages, as you can see on the screen, were up early today. European stocks pulled back in early morning trade following global momentum as a fresh round of hawkish comments from the Fed officials resurfaced expectations for imminent policy tightening on the back of inflation. CPI data from the United States is reading at 7%. Meanwhile, stocks in Asia, that's Japan and South Korea, led losses in that region. South Korea's central bank raised its benchmark rate by 25 basis points to 1.25%, the highest since March of 2020. If we move over to commodities now, oil prices eased for a second session today on growing concerns that Washington may soon act to cool prices, while movement controls in China to rein in a COVID-19 outbreak weighed on fuel demand. For gold price, it's poised for its best weekly gain today since last November, as investors await economic data that will provide some kind of clarity about U.S. Fed tapering policy, while a weaker dollar as a treasury yields in the U.S. would likely support the yellow metal. All right, that's it for the morning market brief at this time. Let's quickly take a break. It's almost close to 11:30 Nigerian time, 11:30 a.m. Nigerian time. Let's quickly take this break to bring in my guest, Kehinde Olomojobi, who is the Group Head Treasury and Global Markets at Greenwich Merchant Bank. We're looking at how you survive the rest of January after the holiday spending and what you need to begin to do from now to keep your finances in check, and not just about money management, but also about building wealth, because money management and building wealth are two different things. They are different. I'll be asking my guest that in a short while. So take your paper and biro. It's time for lecture, personal finance. I don't know, either 101A or 101B. If you watch the show on Monday, you know we started on Monday, and we are, moving towards the end, at least for this week, so that you go home for the weekend, you do some things with your finances and you get your pockets in check. We'll be right back after the break. Don't forget to join us on all our social media platforms. You can tweet at us, Moneyline TV. You can also send your questions right now as you watch. Send your questions. Tweet me at Nancy Ilo. Send your questions also to our guest. And let me also say that from Monday next week, we'll begin a new segment called Ask Nancy. Any question you want to ask, you can do that. You can send us an email. You can also send those questions to the numbers that will be on the screen within the program. Any question you want to ask concerning finance, business, economy, or even your personal finance, you can ask those questions and I will give you a feedback on the show. So let's quickly take this break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Kende Olomojobi, who is the Treasurer Group Head, Treasury and Global Markets at Greenwich Merchant Bank, is joining me right now from Lagos. Hello, Kende, and welcome to the program. Good to see you.
Hello, Nancy. Good to see you again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Kende. I guess we should get started. Let me get started from this point, and what's coming to my mind is the song Back to Life from I think it's Soul to Soul. Back to life, back to reality. So so we're all back to life and we're all back to reality after holiday spending, for those that had money, because there are some people too that did not spend. They spend according to their pockets. So we're back to life, we're back to reality. For many people, January never ends. They count the days. How do you think that we should approach the rest of January? How can we survive the rest of January?
Thank you so much for having me, Nancy. I'll start by talking about what a hangover is. A hangover leaves you with a feeling of weakness. Now, coming to a financial hangover, it's what you experience when you've done a ridiculous amount of spending, either due to societal pressure, trying to fill up the Yuletide or seasonal euphoria, and so you spend money, and then you're waking up to reality, just like you sang earlier on, to say, where am I starting from? Now that it's January, it's important for us to have a feeling of being able to reset, press the reset button. First and foremost, you need to ask yourself, where am I in terms of what I owe and what I own? What I owe are my liabilities, and what I own are my assets. At every point in time you spend money, you are depleting the assets that you have, be it cash. Let's not also forget about the money value correlation. So really, you may not have cash in your account at the beginning of January, but you have value that you can monetize. So in putting together your financial network, calculating what you owe and what you own, that is your assets and your liabilities, you must also be recalibrating what value do I have that I can monetize. That's the starting point. Press the reset button. There's something in our culture, and people say it, know yourself, know because. So you look at the man in the mirror and you ask yourself certain questions. First and foremost, have you spent more than you earned? Once you spend more than you earn, there is no way you won't be in a deficit. There are 3 golden laws of money, universal laws of money, that transcends, I always say it, culture, religion, stature, color. And those 3 laws of money should quickly come to mind when you're starting January. The first law is, don't spend more than you earn. The second one is, allow your money to grow, and that's where the compound interest element comes into play. The third one is knowing your needs and your wants. So in January, in resetting that button and starting all over again, you must be conscious of the fact that you need to spend only on your needs. What do you need in January? Transportation, you need food, you need to have a roof over your head. Any other thing should be cut off in January. Secondly, you must begin to ask yourself, how can I earn more money? Warren Buffett said, if you are depending on only one source of income, you are just one step away from poverty. So the reality is, you must begin to ask yourself, what other streams of income do I have? It's important that in January, you begin to pencil down those skills that you have so that you can begin to monetize them. Let's also quickly lay a ground rule about passive income, one, and a side hustle. A passive income, which every one of us should begin to drive from January, is that stream of income that does not interfere with your main stream of income. So, once you're sleeping, you're getting alerts on your phone, you're on a vacation or a staycation somewhere on the Caribbean, you're still making money. However, there's a thin line when it comes to the side hustle. And in January, you must begin to tell yourself, if you're in full paid employment, you must not encroach on your employer's time at any point in time in driving your side hustle. So you take your side hustle to the weekends. you know, or after your normal hours of work and begin to drive them. Let me quickly also say, Nancy, here, that the fear of missing out and the you only live once syndrome is something every one of us also have to remove in January. Every one of us has a fear of missing out and the you only live once syndrome. If you continue to carry that into the new year, you will not be able to count your coins or your notes properly. Like I always say, money is not the cash you have in your bank account. Money is value. So in January, ask yourself, what value do I carry? I'll stop here, Nancy.
Okay, we'll take a break now, and when we come back from the break, I'll be asking you the question, how do we individually create value for ourselves? Because I like what you said, that money, yes, money necessarily, okay, money gravitates to value. So you must do something of value that people will see and they will pay you money for that. But let's quickly take a break, and when we return, we'll continue the discussion. Please, you can join us on all our social media platforms. You can tweet us right now, Moneyline TV. You can also find me on Twitter at Nancy Ilo-Onaje, and send your questions as well as comments for Kehinde that you want her to answer. Let's quickly take a break. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back to the program. Kehinde Olomojobi is still with me. She is the Treasurer, Group Head Treasurer and Global Markets at Greenwich Merchant Bank. Kehinde, you were talking earlier about value, and I would want you to answer the question around how do we create value individually? You know, because money gravitates to value. It's a measurement of how much value you are providing. So how do you create value? I know we do different things. We're skilled in different manners. We have different talents. We have different things that we do, different 9 to 5s. But is there a universal principle of how to create value?
Thank you very much, Nancy. You mentioned it, different skills would eventually turn into value that you can monetize. But the starting point is to know your network.
Okay.
Your net worth is a function of your network. So even if you have that value and you're not within the right network, or the usual word I use, the right ecosystem, there won't be a showcasing of your value. So you must, in January or in the new year, begin to have an audit of your network. Because when you have the right people in your network, they won't be the ones to showcase your value. You know, and that way you can make money. So there isn't any universal law around creating value. It's about you picking the right ecosystem, the right network, which has a direct correlation with your network.
So in essence, let me summarize what you said. We need to do an audit of our social, I call it social wealth, social capital. Social capital. Yes. So social capital. How many people do you know? What are the things those people bring to the table? What can you also bring to the table? What are those you can leverage on, or what can you leverage on? And you make money because it's like your connection. Absolutely. In the Nigerian balance is about connection. Now, who you know?
Let me rephrase it, Nancy.
Okay.
We have the social media out there, you know, and people have followers, but do you have followers or you have monitoring spirits? So when I'm talking about your network, I'm not talking about connection. I'm talking about you having the right people in your corner. Oh. It could be the man at the gate. It could be someone that you don't even know has that kind of network. They say in life that the thing you need is just 5 people away. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you may not have any big man somewhere, but you have someone within your network that would know someone that will know someone. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. And so when you have value, you must be able to talk to the right people, and those people will be the people in your network. I will say it again. Your net worth is a function of your network. In this new year, you must do that audit. Pick up your phone, check the people on your contact list, check the people following your social media. Are they the people that would amplify your value, that would eventually turn into money? And that, for me, is the law that I follow. And to a large extent, it has worked. So as you're upskilling, developing new skills, you know, new functionalities around yourself, you must also be developing that social capital, that social wealth. And it starts with you. It is the emotional deposit that you have with people, because people will forget what you did for them, but they won't forget how you made them feel. Yeah. So you must be deliberate this new year about how you're depositing in people's emotional banks, because there would be a time when that emotional deposit will translate into somebody amplify your value, and then you being able to make money. Referrals, people will refer you here and there.
Kennedy, let's take a look at this from ground zero, and for people watching that perhaps come from a very poor background, that did not even have financial hangover, or did not even have holiday hangover, because for you to have holiday hangover, perhaps you even had money you overspent. How about for those that did not even have money at all to spend, and they were, you know, living from hand to mouth, or they've been living from hand to mouth? Come off it, about 100 million Nigerians are poor. So let's address those poor Nigerians now. 100 million Nigerians are poor. How do you expect that they should come out from a state of brokenness and sadness and be more realistic and saying, I want to take my 2022 in my hands with God's help to get out of ground zero?
Permit me to say, when it comes to wealth creation, let's leave the GOD factor aside. Wealth answers two universal principles. Whether you're a Muslim, an atheist, or a Christian, the rules cut across. So yes, God will help us, God helping us, yes. However, if you're starting from ground zero, permit me to also say you must have something. There must be something. And God being, and I'm going a bit spiritual now, God is a phenomenal entrepreneur. He has given everybody something. The problem we have is that we don't identify what we have. Your being rich or being poor in life, and I'm going to say this with a lot of confidence, is not a function of where you were born. It is a function of value. And first and foremost, there is an innate value in every human being. It's for us to identify that value and amplify it, refine it, upskill it, and then we'll make money. Without prejudice to those who are a bit underprivileged or underprivileged, they still have value. We've seen it on social media where we'll see a young boy displaying so much musical dexterity with his vocal cords, and then somebody picks him up from there, and he becomes a mega star. There's even a recent episode where we have a young boy, a young man doing singing, and then everybody's talking about him. Everybody has a skill. Can you cook? Can you drum? Can you sing? Can you run? There's something everybody has. So whether you're poor or you're rich, even if you're rich and you don't have any skills or you cannot identify your skills, the riches will go away, because there's also something about sustainability, growth, and transfer to the next generation. So I'll say it again, it cannot just be a function of your financial background. It is you identifying your value, and everybody has value. Every human being has value.
Even the Mile 12 market there in Lagos can start from.
He has value. He has value, Nancy, because the way he's pushing his cart can and should be different from every other cart pusher, and that's a unique selling point.
Yeah.
The way you do things, your behavior is your USP, and that's what stands you out. In this new year, you cannot afford to be in the crowd. There must be something in you that stands you out. Once you identify what stands you out, develop it, talk to the right people, and then you can monetize that value. Let me also say that if you need to hear some people's stories, including mine. Everybody has value, and it's important that you identify the value. I'll bring in the GOD factor now. Now, identifying your value, you need to also talk to the manufacturer, because he has the manuscripts. Everybody has a manufacturer. Who is your manufacturer? So speak to your manufacturer, pick up the manuscript, and then you develop your value. I'll leave it at that.
So the manufacturer is God. So ask God to reveal to you through the manual, which he has also created, because every manufacturer has a manual for the buyers of that equipment to read. Kehinde, earlier on I also did say that I guess there's a difference between money management and building wealth. Is there a difference, or do you think they are the same?
There is a method to wealth creation, and I'll just quickly talk about three of them. The first one is delayed gratification. Once you're able to delay gratification, it means you're not spending at that point in time, and you're allowing your money to grow. And once you just get there tomorrow, wealth creation is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and you must develop a level of patience in allowing your money to grow. So one, delayed gratification. The second one is also being patient and investing. Now, in investing, you must also apply diversification. So you may have an investment class, for example, that earns you 2%, another earns you 10%, another earns you 14%, another earns you 8%. You must spread all your investments into different asset classes as you're growing your wealth. Don't stay with one. Because in life is in seasons. In some geographical climes across the world, you have 4 seasons. In Nigeria, we have the rainy season and the wet season. So there's a season of life. And for each season of life, you must have a stream of income coming in. I don't want to delve into the Garden of Eden analogy where there were 4 streams in that river. It means that God, or in his infinite wisdom, understood that there will be seasons of life. And for each season of life, you must have a stream nurturing your life and nourishing it and keeping it green. Let me leave that. Now, the third rule about wealth creation beyond delayed gratification and investments and being patient is the fact that you must have a know-how. Now, you can have that know-how by developing yourself and acquiring knowledge or paying for that know-how. And that's why the role of investment advisors in our present day generation or present day time comes very important. You must have a financial advisor. And if you are savvy financially, you must put that know-how into the wealth creation journey. Financial management is just about keeping your money, ensuring your money is safe, ensuring it's safe from inflation or devaluation, and that comes with skills also. But wealth creation involves focus, diligence, patience, more importantly, delayed gratification, investments, and more importantly, financial know-how.
Kehinde, you brought the issue of getting a financial advisor. Getting a financial advisor is expensive. Will that barrel pusher in mile 12 be able to get a financial advisor? We have 100 million Nigerians that are poor, and I'm speaking to them now. We are speaking to them because some people that are rich, the rich folks amongst us, they already do these things. At least, they manage the wealth. But how do we bring the bottom of the pyramid out? It's about even alleviating poverty right there now. So will they get financial advisor? It's expensive.
If you look at the average Nigerian has a mobile device. And that's where access to decentralized information comes into play. Google is our friend. There's so many things to read up on Google. If you don't want to pay for a financial advisor, there's free information on the internet that we can leverage on. What's important is what are you using your mobile device to do? And who are you talking to? Again, you can begin to, that network issue is very important. You must be in the right network or ecosystem. So you may not pay for financial advisory, but you may get it informally from the ecosystem you belong to or the little community you belong to. One way or the other, you will have access to this information. It's about keeping your ears to the ground, being in the right circle, being in the right corner with people, and also being in people's corners so that you can have access to this information. Maybe we need to do more, decentralize this financial knowledge more.
Be in the corner of people to also find yourself in the right, try to find yourself in the right place at the right time. And of course, watch this show. It's for free. So you get free advice too. Now, Kehinde, just as we round up, I know you've been giving us tips here and there within the program, but I want to coalesce your thoughts on perhaps give us 3 or 4 tips very quickly in a minute on how to survive the rest of January and looking forward. Can you just give us 3 tips quickly?
Okay. The first one is stick with cash. Anything you can buy with cash right now, don't buy it.
Okay.
The second one is focus on only your needs. Remove every excess. All your wants, remove them. The third one is calm down. Don't put yourself under any form of societal pressure. And I'll just say 2 words. Do you. Do you. Do what makes you happy. Let nobody put you under pressure. The final one is be wise.
Be wise.
Money has wings. Yeah. So you must, at this point in time, be thinking, how do I tie my money down? The one I would just say to wrap up, Nancy, if you were money, would you come to you? So this year, you must make yourself attractive enough to money. I'm taking us back to the money value correlation. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Kehinde. You are making me imagine if I were money, would money like to come to me? Yes, money would like to come to me. I'm the money woman in the country. Come off it. Moneyline with Nancy. So that's my name. That's my trademark. So money come, money come, money come. Money should fly to me. Thank you very much, Kehinde. Thank you very much, Kehinde, for your thoughts this morning. We'll see you soon. Or I'll see you soon, and let's chat soon. Thank you very much. And a happy new year again.
Thank you very much for having me, Nancy. It's been a pleasure. All the best today.
All right, I've been speaking with Kehinde Olomojobi, who is the Treasury Group Head, Treasury and Global Markets at Greenwich Merchants Bank. We've been talking about survival tips for the rest of January and the rest of the year. And let me also add something to what Kehinde said earlier. She said, stick with cash, focus on your needs, calm down, don't be pressurized, and also sell unwanted items. Set your closet. Some of the things that you're not using, you've not used for 6 months, 1 year, auction them online. That's a free tip for you. I'll see you all again next week, Monday, bright and early, 11 a.m. on this channel. Be the best you can be. I'll be the change that you want to see. I'm out. It's Friday, and I'm ready to play. See you all on Monday. Bye.